I know, playing a tutorial like this before starting the actual story is a bit of a time waster, and since there's no voice acting in this part, it's probably the only part of the game where I'm gonna be throwing my own voice into the mix. I'd rather not compete with the game's soundtrack when things really get started, and the tutorial is when we're bombarded with a good deal more text to read than usual. Once we're done here, it's back to my usual text-based commentary style. Payne can carry a good number of weapons, though some use the same ammo as others, and I can never remember which guns share the same ammo supply. And I don't always agree with the game's idea of what the best weapon is. I generally prefer guns that you don't have to reload as much and that have some reasonable range, so we're probably going to use pistols a lot more than shotguns over the course of this game. Ah yes, bullet time. Sure, this series isn't the only one that lets us slow down time for a little bit at the push of a button, but I can't help appreciating it more here than, say, it was used in The Matrix Path of Neo. Though I'm probably not going to use it as much as I probably should. Partly because I want to save the resource for when we're going to need it, partly because I want to give the thugs we're going to be shooting at more of a chance to feel threatening, considering the difficulty we're going to be playing on, and also it just doesn't look as visually interesting as you'd think. Some of the limits of a PS2 game, I'm afraid. Ah yes, jumping. Yeah, that's not particularly great in this game, but it kinda gets the job done. Not sure why they threw it in, though, since this game is kind of a crappy platformer. Oh, and speaking of things thrown in, why the hell didn't they give us a dedicated reload button? Payne either automatically reloads on his own when you stay still long enough, or he just keeps shooting until the gun is empty and then reloads, which can be a little inconvenient in the middle of a fight. Enemy dispenser, Well, I suppose that's one way to give us some foes to deal with. Is it just me, or does this game's tutorial feel more like we're in the Matrix than the tutorial in the Matrix game? Yeah, bullet time is similar to, but not quite the same as focus mode from the Matrix games. It can certainly be helpful when we're dealing with a rough fight, letting us aim at guys more quickly, and then take them down before they can shoot us too often, but we're not exactly going to be dodging a whole lot of fire, despite what you probably should expect here. And if the fight isn't all that rough, there's really no harm in just shooting the enemy in regular time, especially since the visuals aren't exactly amazing when you slow things down in this game. And holy shit, that siren is loud as hell! That's one way to wake up the neighborhood. Oh, and before I forget, painkillers are our only means of replenishing health in any of the 3 Max Payne games. Certainly a decent play on words, but not something I'd call a good joke. Oh dear. Very much hoping that the sniper rifle isn't something we're gonna have to use all that often around here. Especially since the only way to adjust the zoom is to get out of the zoom and hold down that one button for it again. Sure, it's fun to watch the bullet as it travels right to the target, but still, that could have been done so much better. And I have seen plenty of PS2 games pull that off better. Anyway, this is the last time you'll be hearing my voice in this game. From here on, I'm using text because I don't want to clash with the game's damn good music and pretty damn good voice acting.